Here is my presentation about my instructional design and technology internship at Goshen College. Instructional design is a system of procedures for developing education and training curricula in a consistent and reliable fashion. It includes both the development of instructional materials and activities and then trying out and evaluating those activities. The origins of instructional design can be traced back to World War II, when training materials for the military were developed based on the principles of learning and human behavior. In light of the success of military training, psychologists then began to view training as a system, and they developed various learning design and evaluation procedures. Although instructional design theory has been influencing educational practices for more than half a century, it wasn't until about 10 years ago, when online learning became popular, that there was a major influx of jobs in this field. Now, many colleges and universities offer undergraduate and graduate degrees in learning design and technology, and graduates are getting employed in higher ed, at publishing companies, and in the business sector as part of training and development teams. One current trend in instructional design is gaming. Although some teachers question the legitimacy of incorporating video games into classroom, there's no doubt that educational gaming is on the rise. Proponents of gaming argue that the culture of video game play is deeply tangled up with other cultural practices like relationships with siblings and parents, patterns of learning at home and school, and the perception of one's future. They also propose that gaming increases student motivation and facilitates collaboration and competition between students. CoolMath.com is a site that dates back to 1997 that uses gaming to increase students' competencies in various subjects in math, and there's also brain training games that focus on logic. The creators of Minecraft, a popular construction video game based on cubes, have also developed educational video games for the classroom. These focus on spatial reasoning. Open educational resources are another major trend in the field of instructional design. They are freely accessible, openly licensed documents and media that are useful for teaching and learning purposes. Proponents of open educational resources argue that financial status should not limit one's access to information. And some educators also use OERs because they provide an alternative to forcing students to pay for costly textbooks. However, about 58.1% of college faculty are still unaware that open educational resources exist, and many faculty find it easier to search through traditional publishers than by using OER. Massive Open Online Courses, or MOOCs, are courses of study made available over the internet without charge to a very large number of people. MOOCs were first developed in 2008 to expand access to education and to allow for more people to enroll than a traditional online course. MOOCs allow for a more diverse student body as well, since more people can join from around the world. Some people do question the effectiveness of MOOCs, though, because only a small percentage of the tens of thousands of learners initially enrolled actually complete the course. This may be in part due to the fact that MOOCs are free and that there's often no grading component. I did my internship with Aaron Milanese, and my primary focus was creating a new student orientation for GC in Moodle instead of in GC Navigator, which was used in the past. This is what the top of the new student orientation Moodle page looks like right now. One major part of the course is the 12 tips for the transition to college video that I made using Screencast-O-Matic, which is also the platform that I'm using to create this video. Here's part of the video. Here are 12 tips for making the transition to college. Ask your advisor for tips on how to start out strong academically. You can get advice on which classes to take and create the perfect schedule. There are lots of quiet places to study all over campus. You can study in the library, on KMY lawn, or in Java Junction, the campus coffee shop. It's also important to get to know your roommate and to figure out the best ways to communicate with one another. Unlike high school, your professors probably won't repeatedly remind you of due dates. Use your phone, a planner, or a big wall calendar, whatever it takes for you to stay organized. There are plenty of people and places at GC that you can visit for help. Your RA, professors, and classmates can all help you adjust to college. The Academic Success Center is also available if you need a tutor or someone to proofread your paper. There are several key discoveries that I made during my internship that I will carry with me into graduate school and into the workplace. Prior to creating the new student orientation, I underestimated how important it is to unite the content experts toward a common goal. As an instructional designer, your job isn't to know the content of what is being presented inside and out, but instead to figure out how to present that information in the best way possible by collaborating with the content experts, like Erin Milanese, Lana Rohr, and Adele Hubbard in this case. I also learned how to avoid the scroll of death, as Erin calls it. By making the Moodle page as concise as possible and including places to open tabs, I was able to significantly reduce the amount of scrolling necessary to get through the entire Moodle page. The final step of developing the new student orientation was an important one. I developed an evaluation in Google Forms for students to complete upon finishing the course. This step allows instructional designers to determine areas for improvement and to gather valuable information from participants. A huge thank you to everyone at GC who made it possible for me to do this internship and to develop this presentation. I look forward to carrying all that I have learned here into graduate school and into my career.